are live. We are doing a real draft on a Yahoo Prize League head-to-head, 9-category, $1,000 buy-in. We've got 12 degenerate gamblers who are joining in the draft room right now. There's about 4 minutes left until the draft, so I want to give you a process of how I draft and what a $1,000 draft looks like on Yahoo, because a group like this is obviously very serious. All these guys have ponied up the most amount of cash you can for a Yahoo public prize league, and this should give you a pretty good indication of where players are going with guys that have really put their money where their mouth is. So hopefully this is helpful, and we'll dive in about 3 minutes. I'll give you some quick insight as to my pick right now, show you a little bit of my spreadsheet and my process for drafting with balance, and hopefully I can give some entertaining ditties as we go through the draft. A lot of interesting nuance here. I've got the 6th pick out of 12 teams. I'm targeting AD. I really want to get Anthony Davis here. He's a good foundational player. I mean, maybe like an SGA falls to me. Super unlikely. It's probably going to be Wemby. Or you know what? In a league like this, these are smart guys. Wemby's the pop guy, and I feel like you just have to, close your nose and get Wemby. But I'm thinking with the first pick, somebody could be bold enough in like a very high-stake 9-cat league like this and take Jokic. I think there's a really good chance somebody takes Jokic here. The logic behind it is that Jokic is probably going to play 70-plus games, where Wemby may not play 70-plus games, because the way I see it, Spurs are likely not going to be a top 10 team, especially with Devin Vassell going down with an injury. I think he's going to be evaluated in about a week or 2 weeks, which means he's going to be out for a month. And if the Spurs, start with a record of like 2-8, Greg Popovich, very smart guy, very smart organization, they may start to waver for Flag. I think we're going to see a Flag sweepstakes, a lot like we saw the Wemby sweepstakes last year. I think there's going to be a Cooper Flag sweepstakes, and a team like the Spurs, they're going to be pretty smart, and I don't think they're going to be a top 10 team, so I don't think it really makes that much sense to overplay your main dude, Victor. So that's my roundabout logic for why I think Jokic may go number 1 here. If he goes number 1, obviously Victor Wembanyama is the consensus number 2 pick. Then I think Luka is, a pretty easy 3 pick. I think Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is probably the best 4th, and then you've got a toss-up. Hopefully 5 takes Giannis or Halliburton, because I'm pretty keen on AD, like I mentioned before. I like AD a lot this year. He looks super good. He's playing in the preseason. The only thing that lacks with him is the threes, but I think he may do more than he did last year. I think 0.4 is a little light, although I think the league on the whole is going to be shooting more threes and making more threes on average. It's really good to understand your standard deviation numbers, which is where does your guy score at a certain rate, and then where is the average. So if you could get your guy's number near the average, you'll be fine. But if he's below the average, you have to really compensate or punt that category to get close to that standard deviation, which is the average of all the subsets and your ranking against that. So I'll show you my spreadsheet, show you how I kind of run through standard deviation and how it's a really important measure of stats. But AD should probably do a 3 to 1.4 threes per game. Very similar numbers, really solid, really reliable, not a high turnover guy, and has good field goal, good free throw. Versus a Giannis where you've got awesome field goal percentage, which is great. You still have the same 3-pointer issue. You do have more pop, you have more points, you have more assists, but with that comes more turnovers. Well, we are ticking down to the last few. So anyway, let's see how this draft goes. $1,000 league, a lot of big boys. Hopefully you enjoy. Okay, first pick. That's my hot take. $1,000 league. Is it Jokic? It is Jokic. That's kind of what I thought. That was my little gamble, and then Wemby, easy number 2. Hopefully I don't have a hard decision. Hopefully it's just AD. I close my eyes. And what I like to do in a draft like this, people don't talk about it enough. You want to move quick. If you know your pick, don't think pick. It puts a lot of pressure on the guy behind you. SGA, easy pick. I think this is a smart league. I have to start to plan. So if I don't get AD, do I go Giannis or do I go Halliburton? It's tough because Halliburton kind of faded away toward the end of last year. Everything is kind of going the way I thought it would, except SGA goes 3, Luka 4, standard. Oh, please give me AD. If I get AD, I'm clicking so fast. If I don't, oh, perfect. Click fast, put pressure on the guy behind you. Boom. And I'll show you my spreadsheet. You get an idea of how I categorize. I was hoping I would get AD, so I already placed them in. Check it out. So what I run here is a spreadsheet that aggregates all my data. So I have AD over here, so it aggregates all my data. It has the points per game. Average point per game is 18.19 out of my universe of subset. This is another really important thing to talk about. Maybe I'll discuss it at another time. But the long and short of it is I am measuring my statistics up here against the league average statistics down here. So what I want to do in a 9-category league, very competitive as a whole, I want to be good across the board. I don't necessarily want to punt in a 9-cat, with the exception of the one thing I am punting is turnovers. I think if you're going to win the league, there's a really good chance you're going to win turnovers. A lot of people have different views on that. I believe that if you're going to win your league, you're going to lose turnovers. So I'm totally fine with losing turnovers. So I'm measuring 8 cats here. Points, threes, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, free throw percentage, and I benchmark my averages, and you'll see how I rip it from another spreadsheet, and I copy, I paste, I rip it back over here, so you'll get an idea of my cats versus the average categories and where I stand. So let's see how the league is progressing here. AD, Halliburton went right after me, Tatum after, Joel Embiid, I think a little early, and then Sabonis, very early too, but we'll probably see a guy like this be pretty tactical. He'll probably start to go assists next. Yeah, let's see. Portland Tune Squad will probably do assists. I don't know. Embiid at 9. I'm probably fading Embiid at 9. There's a lot of guys I'd rather have than Embiid. But I'm going to be here with the 19th pick. So I like to start to set some contingencies. Anthony Edwards in a 12-league 9-cat. That's also a little bit early for me. Let's see how picks start to come together. Guys like this, they're going to run the clock down a little bit, so I don't have to worry too much. But as soon as I start to get to like around 6 picks, 5 picks, I'm going to want to start to plan for my next guy. In an ideal world, I'm going to snap up a lot of guys that I have here. Steph Curry, probably not falling. Chet, probably not falling. Trae Young, probably not falling. I'm probably going to target a Scotty Barnes here. I feel like he's a really good fit with AD. I don't get to recompensate off those threes, but I'm good across the board. Field goal, good. Free throw, okay. Points are going to be good this year. Rebounds are going to be good. Assists are going to be awesome. And then steals and blocks. So I'm going to be really good across the board, but smart league like this, Scotty may go, but I'm targeting a Scotty here. A Scotty over a Chet because I already have some blocks, and Chet is, not that he's one-dimensional, because I think he's going to have very similar numbers to Scotty Barnes, and I think he's going to have the endurance, which is also very important. But I think my pick here is really a Chet or a Scotty. Obviously, if I get Steph, I'm snapping it, but Steph's going soon. He's going to have a great year. So we have Trae Young at the 12. I like it a lot. The only problem with the Trae Young at the 12 is that you're going to really have to think about, am I going to get a Zion in the 4th round? So he goes Trae Young, Steph Curry, awesome 3-pointers. Again, I'm not necessarily going to punt because I could punt threes right now, be totally fine, but I don't want to punt versus the field. It's okay for me not to have threes as good as this guy who's got Trae and Steph, but I want to draft for balance. It's a long year, and you want to win as many 7-2s and 8-1s as you can so that you could compensate for your 5-4 losses and maybe your 6-3 losses, although this year I don't really want to do any of those. So I'm going to draft across the board and try to get equanimity, which is why I keep my spreadsheet here and I try to keep my numbers good across the board. Obviously, right now, you can see it's a pretty glaring issue. Threes and assists is what I need a lot right now. Everything else I'm doing pretty good with AD. That's a good start. I mean, maybe I snap a James Harden. Hopefully he goes before. I feel like people are way overbidding on Harden. The Clippers are going to suck. Harden's kind of old. He's had some injury history. He was fine last year. I think he's going to have a great year, maybe 23 points per game, 11.5 to 12 assists. Probably a little better on the field goal because he'll get more reps. He'll be good across the board, maybe 3 threes a game. He'll be awesome. Probably similar. I don't know if he's getting 0.8 blocks again. But Harden's good. Harden's really good. I don't think I'm taking a Harden above a Scotty, though. I feel like this is Scotty's pop year. Chet's gone. Made the decision for me. I really don't want a Donovan Mitchell. New coach, new system. He got a ton of minutes last year. Is he going to get the same amount of minutes next year or this year? I don't know. So let's start to log up some guys. Obviously, Scotty's my number one spot here. LeBron is good there. I don't want... LeBron's good. I kind of wouldn't mind a LeBron here. Devin Booker, I don't love. Hopefully, Scotty Barnes falls to me. If I get Scotty, I'm just snapping him up. LaMelo's a hot take here. Just injury history. Scotty, just don't even think. I'm just going to snap him, put pressure on the next guy. Snap it. Okay, we take Scotty. Little early, but he's just got such upside this year. I have a hard time avoiding Scotty in the spot. So let's snap up Scotty. I'll show you how I do this spreadsheet. So let's do a Control F function. SEOTTY. There's Scotty. Let's do a little copy and paste without formatting. Okay, cool. Let's snap it up. Here's my projections for Scotty. What's important about the sheet I have is that I have projected a lot of the players' stats here so that I know what I'm going to get into next year. Here's what I'm projecting with Scotty Barnes. I'm projecting 23.5, 2 threes a game, 8.5 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 1.5 steals, almost 1.5 blocks, field goal probably around where he was last year, a touchdown, same with free throw. Here's one thing to think about. I don't want to overemphasize free throw and field goal. It's important to have good field goal and good free throw and be cognizant of it, but you want to draft for equanimity. Right now I have a lot. I'm pretty good on field goal percentage. Being 4 percentage points above the standard deviation is pretty good, but you really want to focus on other things. Like right now my 3 should be a lot better, but my points off to a good start. Rebounds, really good start. Assists, solid, but that needs to be better. It's solid because Scotty does get across the board awesome stats. I look at Scotty kind of as an SGA, little fewer points, more threes, slightly more rebounds, but on par of assists, on par with steals, probably a little bit less on the steals and a little more on the blocks with a touch less on the field goal and a little less on the free throw. So pretty much nothing like SGA. Kind of like him, but not. He's one of those guys who's across the board. So far, I'm really liking my team for a 12-man league, 9-cat. Really, really good start. Let's see. I've got 7 picks to my turn. Let's see who's been picked since my spot. Wow, Sengun. I think it's a little early on Sengun. It depends on his draft. Kyrie probably a little bit early here too. KD not bad. LaMelo a little bit of a snap up too. Like I feel like I'm LeBron before a lot of these guys. He's got staying power. They're going to need him. They've got nothing left to lose. LeBron's trying to make the play-in game. The only reason I may not take LeBron is basic differentiation. Do I really want to have him and AD on the same team? The way I think about it is if I have guys that are tiered off on different teams, I can have a higher probability of having the best player on that team on the night. There's only so many shots in a game. Yes, LeBron and AD are 1 and 2 on that team. But am I going to take LeBron in this spot? I don't know. But LeBron is also one of those dudes who is so good across the board. He gets you threes. He's a touch standard deviation above threes. He gets you the assists. If I could match him with a Scotty and an AD, I think it's a really great start. I may be crazy to not take him here, but let's start framing out some of my next picks. I've got LeBron here. I've got Maxey, who I think is in line for a really decent year. He's going to get me a ton of threes, good percentages, a lot of points, decent assists, okay steals, really good assist to turnover ratio. Not that that counts in the league, but you could juice your assists and decrease your turnovers. And Embiid's going to be out for a lion's share of the games this year. So I like Maxey a lot. Am I going to take LeBron or Maxey? I don't know. I'm not making that decision yet. Let's see. One guy who I'm probably not taking above this, let's see if Dame falls to me. I might take Dame. And I might think about a PG. Who I'm not taking here is, and I know I have my ranks here, but I'm probably not taking a Cade in this spot. The assists are good, but I think the field goal is just okay. And the turnovers are kind of high. You take a look at a guy like LeBron, he gets one more assist a game, probably close to, with the same turnovers. Better field goal percentage, same amount of threes, same amount of points, more rebounds. I think LeBron may be a better guy across the board, but you have to be slightly concerned about free throw. And it looks like my team is kind of turning into a quasi, I don't want to say free throw pump, but not optimal, not optimized for free throws. So 4 picks left. I got 3 guys teed up. I don't love Lauri Markkanen as my backup guy. I mean, maybe I'm bold enough to take a Ja here so I could juice up my points. He's also a risky guy. Like a FVV, Fred VanVleet is not going to fall to me. But do I want to risk a guy who's not going to score a lot of points in this spot and on a deeper Houston team? I don't think Fred VanVleet is going to improve upon his numbers. I don't think he's going to get more minutes. If anything, I think he's going to get less minutes. That's such a talented team. Dollar Dame win. So interesting spot for me. I think I'm going to be between LeBron and Maxey. I think I might have to snap up LeBron in the spot or snap up Maxey. Maxey's efficient across the board. Like I mentioned before, good assists relative to turnover. I like Fred VanVleet a lot, but I already have those steals with Scotty Barnes, so I could find them in another round and juice up points where I may not be able to find points later. You're always going to find threes late. This year, you may find some assists late. And I think across the board, you're probably going to find some rebounds late. There's a lot of guys who are falling. Like, you take a look at a Mark Williams. If you could snag him up in a later round, I think that could return pretty good value. So I'm thinking about a Ja Morant over a Fred VanVleet here. And I think I've got my 3 spots lined up here. I don't think I'm taking anybody below Jalen Williams. Really early pick for Jalen Williams. That's crazy, dog. That's crazy for Jalen Williams. That is crazy. JJJ, hammy injury. Probably want to fade this round. Kawhi, a lot of ambiguity this year. Talked about Lauri Markkanen before. I think the Jazz are going to be a little tanky, although he's great. Let's see. LeBron win. So I've got a decision to make. I think Maxey's going to have a good year. I'm inclined to take Maxey, but I want to think. I'm not snapping it up. Do I take a Maxey or do I take a Ja? Maxey solid across the board. You're going to get threes. We're going to get similar points, maybe. I think we're going to get edged out in assists. Ja's got the star power. Wow, tough spot for me. They're both point guards, but we have point guard and shoot guard eligibility here too. Flexibility is good. I think I'm inclined to take a Maxey here. It's a solid pick. I can't go wrong here. I'm probably going to go Maxey, but I just want to test the boundaries here. If there's anybody else I could think about taking, I'm not going to take Bam here. I've already got some rebounds. I think I'm going to take a Maxey, snap up some good numbers like this. I'm just not taking Fred here. Maybe I'll be able to fade this round, but let's take Maxey. We went with Maxey. Let's start to line up some numbers here. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste without formatting. Maxey, I took a note here. Let's see. All right, so pretty good here. I'm sort of compensating for the things that I really needed, and it's all about drafting for balance. That's why I felt like Maxey was a good spot for me here. Decent field goal for what he is. Maybe he'll improve on this a little bit. Really good free throw, solid across the board. Steals right at the average of about 1 per game. Gets me my assists. Not at huge numbers, but gets me my assists well above a standard deviation, the average of 4.25. My rebounds are already looking solid across the board with my first 2 picks. And now I'm starting to hedge up on threes a little bit, which is great. Points, doing really well. I think my 1, 2, 3 on points is good. This is a super, super solid start. AD, Scotty, Tyrese Maxey. I'm feeling good about this start. I don't think Fred VanVleet or Ja Morant is going to fall to me in my next spot, pick 43, but I'm going to start the plan here. We got Cade Cunningham coming on the back end of that too. I think he's going to get picked, but let's tee him up anyway. You always want to get your queued guys up. This way you're not scrambling and thinking when it's your turn. You want to just start to queue up your guys, be organized. Let's see here. Kawhi, I think I'm going to fade another round. I'll let that be somebody else's headache. His per game value is awesome, but I don't think I want to deal with his injuries. He didn't play for U.S. basketball this year. He might not be here for the start. Clippers don't have a ton to play for. He's just wants longevity. He wants big contracts. JJJ, does he fade to me here? I may just snap up a JJJ. I don't think the points are going to be as good as they were last year, but there is talks that he's going to be able to improve his blocks and steals. So I'm going to tee up a JJJ here. DeJounte goes. Controversial spot. DeJounte Murray at 34. I like him. I don't love him. It's kind of a cluster F in New Orleans right now. I actually do like Zion a lot. I like Zion a lot this year. All right, Fred VanVleet goes at 35. Good value for that spot. Let's start to tee up some other guys. I did do well in blocks and seals to start. So, like, I start to think about, do I want a Derek White? The real argument here in fantasy is, like, do you take Derek White or do you take Jaylen Brown? I think it really has to do with how your team is doing, because in some spots, Brown's going to make more sense if you need some more pop across the board when it comes to points, and that's about it. You're probably going to get par on rebounds, less assists, although I think JB is going to be in for a really big year. He did 23 last year. I think we're going to be at 26.5 with no KP through Christmas, if not longer. Got 7 picks till my go, and I've got Ja here. If Ja falls to me, bink, don't even think. If JJJ falls to me, I think I snap him up too, but we got a Jalen Johnson, who I think is interesting. A Desi Bane, who is interesting. Jamal Murray, not as interesting for me here, but he does get me my assists with good percentages and just a good across the board guy who I think he's going to have a solid year. He always starts slow, and I think people are down on him because he didn't perform too well in the Olympics for Canada. But let's see what happens with Jamal Murray. Let's take a look at the board here. Rudy Gobert goes. A lot of people also look at the draft results. They look at the draft board to see how they're drafting against other people, who's going to have their build. Again, we are in 9 categories. It's good to see other people's build and build your team based on theirs, but I think it's a long season. You don't know who gets injured. You don't know who you're going to snap up off the waiver wire. You want to keep yourself as nimble as possible. You want a plane that you could launch up in the air and be able to reconfigure as you're in the air. The problem is that if you build a plane without a wing, you're not even going to have a chance to take off. And that's why I think a lot of people in 9 categories, especially in an expert league like this, $1,000 buy-in, you don't want to go punting categories too early. That's my 2 cents. You can work with what you have, and you can maybe start to reconfigure your team and kind of quote-unquote punt as the season goes on. But I don't really believe too much in going a heavy punt. Let's take a look. We got 5 picks to my turn, and I've got 5 guys teed up, with the exception of Kawhi Leonard. I think I'm going to fade Kawhi again. Let it be someone else's problem. It's a very smart league. Somebody's going to get him for good value, but I just don't feel like he's good value here. John Morant goes. Solid pick. I really like it. I'm going to need to start to think about what categories I want to go after. I'm pretty good across the board. Let's take a look. I could probably use threes, but I could find threes late. I'm good across the board. I think I'm going to draft for talent right now. 4 picks left to my spot. I think I'm going to draft for talent. I'm looking and I'm feeling pretty good. Let's see if I could get somebody who's just good. I feel like that's a JJJ in my spot, a Jalen Johnson in that spot. I feel like we got my 2 guys right here, and then a Desi and a Jamal Murray, and then we need to think about, Paolo's so freaking intriguing this year. I take a look at Apollo Banchero, and a lot of people are turned off because you have mediocre field goal, mediocre free throw, high-ish turnovers, not great steals and blocks numbers, but in this 3rd year, I think he's going to pop off. I think we're going to get closer to 30 than we are 25. We may be at 2 threes a game. Free throw is probably going to be the same, which is a bummer. Field goal, I think, is actually going to tick up. I think he's going to be 48-ish percentage. He's ticked up every single year. Rebounds are going up. Assists are going up. Everything's going up across the board, which probably turnovers too. But again, you're not going to win turnovers and win your league. That's my 2 cents. So I like Paolo a lot here. If I fade him, I'm not going to get another chance to get him, but I'm doing okay in the counting stats so far because I snagged up a guy like Tyrese Maxey, Barnes, and AD. So I don't need to go chasing flashy stats because I could find these flashy stats later. I'm probably best to grab a little more sustenance. Paulo goes anyway, so don't even matter. I got my 3 guys teed up. The question I ask myself here is, do I go a Derek White over a Jamal Murray if it comes to it? Okay, Bane, that made my decision easy for me. I don't know if I love a Jalen Johnson here. I think he's going to be awesome across the board, which I do like. I think he's going to get a pop in points, and I think he's going to be a very similar guy. Let's call him a Scotty Barnes light. And I kind of like going Scotty Barnes light here. This is immense talent. I'm feeling a Jalen Johnson. I think I'm going to just snap him up if I get him. And then I'll worry about assists in the next round here. A Miles Turner in that spot, I think, is just trash. I think that's such a freaking trash pick. I think I'm going to snap up a Jalen Johnson. I think I'm going to do fine in points. I think there's a lot of usage for him to soak up. He's going to be super high field goal percentage. Hopefully he stays injury-free, but I think he's my dude for this spot. Let's take our shot here. We're going to grab Jalen Johnson. Okay. Let's take a look at how I projected Jalen Johnson out. Jalen Johnson. And if you want to know more about the spreadsheet system I have here, I may do a standalone product either for free or for sale. I'm just really not sure yet, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It helps me a lot. Let's see how we're sizing up here. Still doing pretty good on points. Jalen Johnson, the only problem is that I have him projected at 18 PPG. He'll probably be a little bit better, but that's just below the average league of 18, or at least below the average of my subset. I only pick from a universe of guys that I'm going to have, so this way I'm not benchmarked against the entire league. You're only benchmarked against guys that are potentially going to be owned by other managers. Jalen Johnson, another guy, like I said, he's like a Scotty. He's like really akin to a Scotty here. Let's take a look at my projected stats for both of them. I've got the points similar, the threes similar. I got the rebounds a little in favor of Jalen Johnson. Assists in favor of Scotty, but close. Everything else here is close across the board. Good numbers, not a great free throw percentage. So let's look at what I got. I think it's time to start juicing up assists a little bit. Feeling good in steals, feeling good in blocks. Overall, feeling pretty good. Having a decent draft. Loving what I got so far. I might want to see what I could do complimentary with threes. Still working on all my major stats. I'm good across the board. Again, I don't want to overemphasize field goal and free throw. I know it's crazy to say that, but there's variance in weeks. Sometimes your team will shoot 55% on the week. Sometimes they'll shoot 47%. You can't control your matchups. So I think it's best not to over-optimize for field goal and not to over-optimize for free throw. Better off compromising a little bit on those stats and hitting your counting stats, because those tend to not be nearly as variable as field goal, free throw, and steals. Blocks I find to be somewhat enduring, and the other stats are very enduring. So let's see who I can get that has some threes and has some assists here. Let's see if I can get any more solid across-the-board guys. Jamal Murray falls. I grab him. I like Emmanuel quickly this year. He looks awesome. Let's start teeing up some guys. I mean, is like Vooch a crazy pick here? Like, if I'm going with my across-the-board thesis, not so much. But, like, if I'm going for pop, I feel like I want a Zion over Vooch. You're missing out on some of the across-the-board stats, but you really get to over-index on field goal percentage. And I think he's going to have an awesome year. He's looking really good in the preseason so far in game one. All right, so here's a couple picks that I freaking hate from teams so far. Jaylen Brown, good. Derek White, fine. Kawhi, fine. Jimmy Butler, touch early. You've stripped all your value away. Franz is such a crap pick. Who's taking Franz there? I feel like he's so middling in so many areas. Not vibing Franz. I'd much rather have a Jamal Murray or an IQ over Franz. I may snab, if I get Jamal, I think I'm going to snack on Jamal because I've got my threes and I've got my assists and I'm good across the board and everything else. Good percentages without compromising too much. I think Jamal's my guy if I get him. And if I don't, I think IQ's my guy. I like Emmanuel quickly so much this year. Awesome assists with not too much turnovers, although I'm not too worried about turnovers. But if I can not have too many turnovers or just having a lot, I'll take it. There goes Jamal Murray. Good pick. IQ is my guy here. He may get stabbed up, but I got to start planning for contingencies. I have Bridges ahead of Miller, but both of their stats, I feel like I almost rather get Brandon Miller because I think he's going to have better scarcity stats this year. I think he's going to have more threes. I think he's going to be on par with points. I think he's going to be on par with assists. I think he's going to be less than in rebounds, but I think he's going to be more in steals and blocks. And I think for value, I can wait for him. I may be able to wait for him and grab somebody else who I think is good. I may even snag like a Zion. Psych. I'm not grabbing Zion. He grabs Zion, which I think is an awesome pick there. I love it. I like an IQ. If I can get IQ, I'm going to snap it up. Let's see who else I may think about getting. I do want some assists and I want some threes. Those are stats that I feel like I'm a little bit behind here. So I want to kind of think about assists and threes. IQ gets me that in spades. That's really what I want. If I miss him, like, will I gamble on a Zach LaVine here? That's the question. Will I gamble on a Zach LaVine? I like Zach LaVine a lot this year as far as a risk reward, but like ADP 67, 65.7. Am I picking him at the 54 spot? My value's kind of stripped. There. I don't love stripped value. I'm definitely not going to reach too much on other guys. I want to trust my picks and not go so much with what they say. IQ, awesome pick there. Now I'm put up with a spot. Ooh, I'm on the clock 1 minute. I hate being in this position. Let's see how we do. I'm on the clock. I'm inclined to take a Zach LaVine here. I'm thinking about a Vooch to get a center spot, but I think I'm going to be able to get good bigs late. What a crap spot for me. Vooch is good across the board, and I feel like this is maybe a bad pick here, but I'm thinking Vooch right now. You also can't lose in the Miles Bridges, but his stats are kind of commoditized. I could find those later on. And everybody else below here, like maybe I reach and I take a Darius Garland, but less minutes on the team. The thinking starts to begin. All right, I'm fading these guys. I'm between a LaVine and a Vooch. LaVine's going to get a ton of shots, I think. I think he's going to be good, but like, do I need to over-optimize for points? Wow, that's annoying. And I don't want to pair two guys. Is it too early to take Miller? I feel like it's too early to take Miller, but crack it up, baby. It's Miller time. I got to take Miller here. This is a high-risk, high-reward play here. I feel like Brandon Miller is going to have a good year. This is a spot that I don't love, but I think I can glaze over that. And the problem here is that I almost feel like I shouldn't have made that pick because I'm already doing pretty well in the steals and blocks. I haven't projected at 20 points and 3 threes. The 3 threes are good paired with 20, but I could find that elsewhere. The only thing that's good here is that I should be good with the steals and blocks. I think he's going to have a pretty good year in that regard, but I don't love the Brandon Miller pick. I felt like I was kind of put up with like not great options. So let's see who else is picked after that. And could I have grabbed a Vooch? Garland, I was thinking about it, but like I'm not in love with it. Definitely not in love with Bridges this year. I think his stats are going to get so diluted by a heavy Knicks team. So far, nobody's made a pick that I'm like, I should take him over Miller. It might be Garland, but I think I'm finding sneaky assists later on. Like there's a Trey Jones who I could snag up a little bit later in, around value 100. And then I can make those stats up. I can make those stats up with less turnovers and the same amount of assists, same amount of steals, and I could grab threes and points elsewhere to build a better picture. So it's all about knowing the flow of the draft and being able to build yourself a nice picture. I was early on Brandon Miller. I know it. I'm going to put my stake in the flag on that, but that may end up being a good pick. If Bridges comes back around, I'm going to take two guys on the same team. Maybe. Doesn't matter. He got picked. I was hoping, I didn't think Miller was going to fall to the next round, but I thought there was a decent chance that LaVine would. Vooch probably won't. And let's see who else I have here. I mean, do I take DeMar in the spot too? I think the problem with DeMar is that he's efficient, but he doesn't really get you threes. And I don't think he'll get you too much in the way of steals and blocks this year. And there's no way he's going on par with assists. And I just think he's on a Kings team where he's going to be at 18 points a game, which is average, less than a 3 a game, which sucks. He'll have the same efficiency. Rebounds are going to be nothing. Assists aren't going to do anything for you. I think he's going to be such a commoditized product that I would totally fade DeMar this year. He's good across the board, but just in the 70s. Again, I'm trying to target a Levine and a Vooch, but again, I think I may be disappointed. Randall, really good value there, good pick. Let's start to think about my next guys. I may have to snag a D'Angelo Russell a little bit early here. And I say a little bit early because I don't think there's anybody that's going to give me that combo of threes and assists coming up in that spot. So I'm going to really strongly consider D'Angelo Russell. And like maybe I'll even reach for a Cam Thomas. I know it's freaking crazy, but if I'm stuck to it and Levine doesn't go, or maybe even Levine is still there, I may just go Cam. I really like Cam this year. I think he's going to be super freaking interesting. Yeah, I think he's going to be super freaking interesting. Cam goes. Obviously, he was terribly interesting to someone else. If I get Levine, I'm taking him. After that, if I get DAR, I'm taking D'Angelo Russell. Let's start to plan for contingencies. I got 4 more picks to my spot. Let's think about how I'm going to do this. In my other big league, I was able to get Kobe White pretty late. I feel like people are fading on Kobe, so another guy that I'm probably going to fade till round, probably not even grab him round 7, but maybe in round 8. Maybe even a Tobias Harris, but another guy who's like efficient across the board. He might as well be a DeMar. He might as well be a freaking DeMar DeRozan, where it's just like flat numbers, blah, meh, plain vanilla. There's other guys who I think I'd want to snag here that just give you more, statistical scarcity. Let's start to size my spots up. I'm feeling a little blah about my picks here. Oh, if I get Zach, great. Let's see who else is going here. Duran, just like so not taking in the spot. DeAndre Ayton, so not taking the spot. I feel like there's guys like Zubac who you're going to get what you want out of these stats, but be able to grab up so much more value in between that. Ingram, not loving this year. New Orleans is just like so heavy. They're so loaded. Yeah, I think now is where the draft gets super freaking skillful, where you got to just be like, you got to snipe, you got to take your shots here. So yeah, I will say, I'm feeling good about getting Brandon Miller in my spot. It was a little early, but better early than not at all, because I think a guy like Levine could follow me. So let's plan it out. We're snagging. We got 3 spots here. I really don't want Tobias Harris. Like, with a passion, I don't want Tobias Harris. Don't want CJ. Fade CJ. Fade Ingram. Giddy, maybe? But, like, Giddy, White, they're on par. I almost just rather, not that they're on par. They're different subsets, but, like, I don't really need the rebounds heavy that much. I'm threes and assists, I feel. Although he is a pretty good source. I don't feel like I can fade D'Angelo Russell here, and I feel like I've already got good points because I sort of grabbed my maxi spot there in my 3. This is a tough spot. Do I take a D'Angelo Russell who's like 3rd, maybe 4th fiddle on the Lakers? I think I do take a D'Angelo. I'm going to think it for a sec. I have Levine ahead of him, but I think I'm a D'Angelo guy here. I will be able to get those stats later on. I feel like a D'Angelo guy here, and I feel like maybe he won't fade to me. Is there an equivalent guy who will fade to me? Wow, that's a thinker, dog. Wow, that's a thinker, dog. Levine is riskier, and there's a chance D'Angelo falls to me. So I could gamble here, and I could take Levine and see if D'Angelo goes. No way D'Angelo's falling to me. It's impossible. There's no way. I'm never getting those assists in that spot. Yeah, let's snag a D'Angelo. I think still a little early, but a little early. Let's see. I don't think Levine's going to fall down to me. Could D'Angelo have fallen to me in that spot if I waited? Probably not. That's my spot. That's my spot. I'll stand by it. Let's take a look at my spreadsheet. After a Pellegrino. Today we're sponsored by Pellegrino. No, we're not. Kobe White goes. Interesting. Kobe White goes before Giddy. That's terribly interesting. All right, let's take a look at my board. Still, pretty good on par with points. Those 3s are clutch. I'm feeling good about those 3s. I'm starting to get good on the 3s. I may want to grab a big man in this spot. Let's see how we're doing with our positions. Let's exit out of this. Let's see how we're doing with our positions. Let's go to teams. My team name is Can't You See Referee. That's an okay name. I'm doing good on rebounds because I was able to get a Scotty at the 2 spot. Obviously, I got 80 at the 1 spot. I was able to get Jalen. And aside from that, my rebounds aren't great, but I could do this by committee. My steals are looking good. I'm looking good here. And positionally, I'm looking good too. I've got 1 center, and I think I'm going to be able to get some centers later on. So let's just keep chugging along. I don't know if I'm going to reach for a center right now. Let's take a look at some of the centers. I don't think I'm reaching for a center. Yeah, there's no way I'm reaching for a center here. We get like so commoditized. I'm like totally fine with a Walker Kessler and a Zubac and a Yakov Podol, Turtle, and Zach Edey. I'm also somewhat fine with. And then as we fade down, like I'm totally fine with a Nas. Don't love a Draymond this year. Okay, late with a Clint. I really like Trace Jackson Davis as a late. That's kind of like my cutoff for big men. I'm not drafting Donovan, so like I've got a bevy of big men that I think are gonna fall positionally late to me. So I'm not gonna go crazy reach for any centers right now. Nobody here feels worthy. Mark Williams would have been gone if he didn't get injured. Brooke is fine, but I still feel like that value is not good. 74 is shit value here, crap value here. So let me go back to all players. Vassell's going to get faded a lot here because he is injured. They're going to bring him on slowly, and I think he's not good in this round. See, ADP 77.2. This is 78. I think if you could snag him on in the 90s, that's probably good value. Wow, Levine goes 71. Good value. Good value, Levine. All right, let's start to stack up my spots. I got 2 guys put together. Tobias Harris, Josh Giddey. I had Kuzma pretty high this year. I liked Kuzma a lot until I watched the preseason game where Sarr started playing. Alexander Sarr. Where do I have him? Like, he's super interesting. Sorry, I have him late, but I have him. I like Alex Sarr. I think he's good. I think he's a good last rounder. He looked freaking good, and I feel like Wizards are going to be youth movement this year. I'm probably fading Kuz unless I get him in my 91 spot. I feel like this is my Tobias Harris spot. If I get him, I'm happy. Although I'm taking Giddey ahead of him. So I'm a Giddey, then I'm a Harris. Let's see. And then I'm definitely... I like Austin Reeves here. Maybe I'm a Drew here. No KP. Drew's so good across the board. Just so good across the board. Keegan, I'm probably fading. Jalen Green is going to have a good year, but his stats are dirty. He is high turnovers relative to assists, so he's not really getting you good in one area where he's hurting you in another. Not great defensive categories, although I don't need them too much at this point. I could also get him late with like a Marcus Smart. Toby goes. So I feel like Giddey's going to go too. I got a plan for life after Giddey. Time to plan for life after Giddey. So if I get Giddey, I snack him hard. If not, I'm feeling a Drew in this spot. It's like total value here. You don't get any real value, but I don't see too much value on this board anyway. I'm not like super excited about a Jonas Valanciunas. Thank you. Not excited about him. So much more excited about a Giddey. So let's think about it. If Giddey goes, I'm just snapping him up. We got a Giddey and a Drew spot here. Although I really like Austin Reeves. I think he's going to be super freaking good this year. But I don't love that I have 3 freaking Lakers, dog. You got to chill with your Lakers. You need differentiation. You shouldn't snag. All the more reason that I should take a Drew over a Reeves, even though I like Reeves a lot, and even though I think he may have better stats. That's such a hot take. You don't want to consolidate with too many players. It leaves you without flexibility, without having your huge pop nights. Kuz goes. Cool. Giddey's there for me. Like, I'm about that Giddey life, and I've drafted pretty good for points. I know I'm giving up points, and I know I'm giving up threes, but, like, I'm getting my rebounds, I'm getting my assists, I'm getting the counting stats here, and I feel like Giddey 68.7 at my 78 spot, that's a grab, dog. My first share of Giddey this year. Let's see how we do, and let's see how Gidd. Josh Giddey. Let's see what numbers I've popped together for this little old Australian creepazoid. Okay. I've got him at 17 points, 7.5 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. If I could hit those numbers, I feel good, especially given my build. I've already super over optimized for steals and blocks to a certain degree. I'm over the standard deviations here, so I did need those assists. And if I could combine those assists and rebounds, that's kind of what I was looking for. Don't think he's a great three-point shooter, but he's not a goose egg, which is good. So let's see across the board. How am I looking? Let us see. Right now, I'm not weak in any one category, which is exactly where I wanted to be. I need to be flexible right now. I'm not going for a punt. I'm just going for as many 7-2s and 6-3 wins, 8-1 wins, maybe 9-0 wins as I can. So let's start to see. PPG, still solid. Threes, good. Rebounds, good. This gives me the ability to continue to draft for talent. I don't need to overcompensate right now. I could just continue about my process. Like, feel me out, dog. If, let's see. If a Reeves falls to me in the spot, I think I snab him up. CJ McCollum. Do I like him? No. Blech. Like, even if a sell is super freaking interesting here, if I could just grab him, draft him, throw him to the INJ, injured reserve, and then I'll have flexibility with the draft spot for the first, or I'll have a flexibility with the pickup spot for the first month. I can probably snag somebody good off the waiver wire and grab Devin and stash him for a month after. Let's start to stack up some guys. Jalen, I still think, is a little early. It's not good value here. Drew, good value, good grab. Let's think. Even like a pull over a Jalen Green is making so much more sense to me right now. I'm vibing, although I freaking hate his field goal percentage. I think he's going to be like a 420. Yeah, man. He's going to be a 420 dude, and I'm not in love with that. But I think he's going to be like 6.5 assists. I think he's going to be like 3 threes. I think he's going to be like 18.5. I think he's going to be like 1.2. I think he's super interesting. Way too early on a Zubac. But that's like value. I think Zubac's going to be super good this year. There's just nobody around on the Clippers. They're going to give him feed, even though the NBA has really shifted from a big man league to a 3-shooter. He doesn't spread the court terribly well, but he's going to get a ton of lobs from Harden, super high field goal percentage. He's going to have record setting. He's going to have career numbers this year. But let's continue to draft. I even rather have a Keegan over him. Keegan is going to be flat. Take a look at a Keegan. He's going to be flat across the board. DeMar's coming in, but DeMar's not taking anything away from Keegan. I feel like Keegan is really slept on this year. He's great value if I could get him at 91 because he's good across the board. He's not crazy in anything, but he's above average threes and above average defensive categories with low turnovers, which, again, isn't what I chase, but I think it's still pretty good. So I'm going to keep racking guys up. RJ Barrett, interesting because I think his field goal percentage is going to be better this year. I think his threes are going to be above standard deviation. It's going to be more than 2 threes. And I still think across the board he's good. He just doesn't get you anything in the way of defensive stats. And he's kind of a high turnover guy. So he hurts you in turnovers and he hurts you in free throws. Again, you don't win your league and win turnovers, but at the same time, you shouldn't like target turnovers. As long as you're offsetting enough, like if I was dying for points, yes, RJ makes a ton of sense. But I don't feel like I'm dying for points in this spot. And I almost rather fade him until my next spot here, which would be like a 102. Even 102 is probably still early for an RJ because his stats are just kind of commoditized. Like 20, like he'll be like 22, 23 points a game. He'll be above average threes, but like not loving him. CJ goes. That's a little bit of a gamble. I feel like Rad Team is like drafting mega funky. He's drafting super funky. We'll do like review. We'll do like draft result review after. Let's keep thinking about it. Mark Williams. No, let's just fade him this round. I feel like the injury risk is super high. And I don't need to snag a center yet. Let's see how my center spots are looking. I could grab a center in the next round. There's enough guys. I could even like gamble and grab a KP and stash him too. But, like, who knows? He's going to be minutes limit. He knows when he's going to come back. They're going to nurse him. They don't need him. I am inclined to grab a Kessler with my next big man pick. But also, like, I'm not afraid to take, like, guys who may not be as impactful. But I think Kessler's going to get a lot of stats this year. But I'm going to wait. I just rather wait. I'm not, like, gambling with my future here. Let's see. we still got 3 really good freaking guys here. Even a Jalen Green is really freaking interesting here. Less interesting, though. Mark's just not that interesting here. Bogey's good, but like... I don't know about Bogey. I like Bogey, but I feel like Bogey's just bad field goal percentage in like high threes. And I can get that with a Keegan. And I rather have a Keegan. And I could probably get better than that with a Reeves. I'd just rather have a Reeves than a Bogey. We're fading Bogey for now. Kuminga gonna have a good year, but again, it does nothing special here. Like the steals, hopefully they tick up. Blocks, hopefully they tick up. But like you're gonna be matched on your assist to turnover, like not great. Rebounds, meh. I think he's gonna be like close to 20 points, but like he's gonna be like an RJ Barrett light. Like he is like an RJ Barrett light, except with less threes. So like I'd rather have an RJ Barrett than a Kuminga. Let's see. Draymond Green, terribly early, my friend. Good assists. Oh, Walker Kessler, you son of a gun. You son of a bitch. All right, let's start to tee some guys up here. I'm feeling good about my spot here. Like, let's see positionally. I've got point guard. Like, I still feel like I want to get some assists. Oh, how many Lakers can one man have? Too many Lakers. But I feel like I like a Reeves over a Keegan because he's going to get you the same stats except less blocks, and my team has the blocks. We're going to be on par with threes. All right, cool. Austin fell to me, and that's like good value, bro. Now the thing you have to think about is like a Reeves versus a Jalen Green. You're getting more points with the Jalen. You're probably getting a touch more threes. Everything else is fine, but like you're getting your efficiency numbers here, and you're not getting screwed over here with decent volume. Ugh, 3 Lakers. Am I a doofus with 3 Lakers? I must be a doofus. Sign me up for doofus camp because I got 3 Lakers. I just don't think I'm taking Vassell here. I think it might be dumb not to take Vassell here, but I'm going for wins, dog. I'm going for wins. Austin Reeves at this spot is good. Ugh, I'm using a lot of clock. I'm a clock sucker. Let's take him. Let's grab our assists here, too. Okay, Austin Reeves. Let's see. I just think that's a good spot. That's good value. I'm just snagging value across the board here. Now I'm going to want to start to think about grabbing some big men. Even though I've missed some of my big men, I still feel like I can get an okay big man here. And even if I miss a big man here, if I feel like I have better value elsewhere, I will do that. Let's do a quick team overview. Quick team overview. Teams. Me. Feeling good, feeling hot, hot. My last couple picks. Giddy, good in the rebounds and assist numbers. So like maybe I don't need to juice up rebounds and assists too much. I feel like I've gotten a lot of my assists. Am I going to be number 1 in assists? No. But am I going to be like number 3? Am I going to be like number 3 in assists? Like I'm like number 4 right now. Let's see how we're benchmarking against other people. Free throw, field goal. I'm like fine being right in the middle. Wow, threes. I'm really lacking and slacking. Although I haven't made my next pick yet. Rebounds. Why am I so light on stuff? Giddy. Yeah, light there. Let's see. Assists good. Steals good. Blocks good. I'm like good on some of these categories. I feel like I might want to grab some rebounds. Here. I felt like I was okay in threes, but like now I'm getting really self-conscious on threes. Who doesn't get threes? That's killing me. I feel like people are slouching threes, which means I should be okay in field goal relatively, right in the middle. Who has more threes than me? This guy is Steph Curry. There's no way you're super high on field goal and threes. Yeah, this guy's got to have Curry. Nope. Wrong again. Wow. Okay. Interesting squad. Let's keep our head down. Let's keep drafting for success. Let's see. I've got Jalen Green starting here, so I might want to grab some rebounds. I feel like Mark Williams is good value here. I'm worried that he's not starting off the season, but like this could be the value spot. This could be the value spot for Mark Williams. I'm inclined to go forward with the Mark Williams, but let's just start teeing some guys up. Dante, I like here, but like it's not Dante time. It's not Clay time. Wow, a lot of my quality guys have been snagged up, brava. I like a Tyus. I like Tyus a lot, but like I'm going to fade him for the next round. If I could get Tyus at 115, I'll be elated. He's going at 113, which means there is a good shot he falls to me. So I've got 3 guys teed up that I like a lot, and I've got 5 more picks to my turn. So I should really set myself up for success here. I don't want to take a Dante in this spot. Not in love with the Dante. KP I feel like is crazy. I don't want to go quote-unquote waste the pick here, so I'm not snagging him. Interesting thought spots. Let's go with ADPs. Let's see who else they have. Like Clint, no. I feel like his job is going to get taken over. But like, not in love with that spot. Not in love with that spot. Like a CP here? That's interesting. Caruso here, like I feel like I need more counting stats here, and he's gone anyway, so just like forget about it. Like even a Calais here, like not a John Collins, not a Middleton, not a Grant, definitely not a Gafford, definitely not a Lively. Too early for Edie when I feel like I can get as like an Alexander Sarr. Tyus, you gotta queue up, but like not Tyus time. Bopo, like so not the dude. Tyus Jones, good freaking pick there. I feel like at this point, these are like a lot of guys I'm not in love with. We also got like Thompson brothers, which definitely are interesting. Like Marcus Smart late, I like. I feel like I have enough guys teed up here where I'm loving my situation with 2 picks to go. I feel like I'm kind of short on centers here. I only have 1 center eligible guy. I hate fading a Jalen Green, and I hate fading an RJ here because you're getting points that they're gone. After this, points are gone. Points are gone, and they're both going to do pretty well. I think RJ is going to be better PPG. Jalen Green is going to get you more threes, worse field goal. That's pretty much your trade-off. Both pretty crappy turnover guys given their assist allocation. Suggs. I'm a Mark Williams guy here. Let's see our note. Outlook. Plenty of promise. This is my gamble spot. He's fallen and he can't get up. God, this is our gamble spot with the Mark Williams. Let's see, is there any other centers who I'm like aight with? Like not really. Like Clint, Nar. If Mark Williams could actually be healthy, let's just go crazy here. Let's leave Mark Williams up here in case I get timed out. And let's go to Roto World NBA. What was Mark Williams' injury? And like, are we worried? That's my 10 spot. I'm just going to pick him if he doesn't go. Foot tendon? We're just going to take him. Foot tendon. I'm like not pretending like I'm not a little scared, but like let's read this. Let's control F and let's find him. Mark Williams is either an awesome pick here or like really crappy. And you know what? If he is like gonna be sidelined, I'll just put him on the IL and hopefully I can grab him later. Give me some news here. To be reevaluated in 2 weeks from now. Nar. Well, what is good about that is that he'll be out for a month, but I will be able to throw him a tendon. I mean, what is a tendon anyway? A tendon injury? Bro, 2 weeks. I still feel like that's good value for a guy who can return top 50 value, but if like the injuries are starting now, it's unclear exactly when he will return, but if the Hornets are going to make a postseason run, they're going to need him back healthy and taking a step forward in his game on the defensive end. And Smoke Brisket. That's just so interesting. Well, I'll take that as a good sign. Smoke Brisket and Mark Williams. Let's just hope for the best. I needed a center in that spot, and we were fading pretty quick on centers. It kind of looks like I'm not overemphasizing centers right now, but let's kind of see where we shake out. Let's throw Mark Williams into here. Not loving it, but This is where you got to start to take your shots in the draft, because if you're really right, you're super set up for success. Let's see. Mark Williams was my 9th rounder. I'm going into my 10th round here. Okay, not in love with the Mark Williams pick, but it does get me okay in the way of rebounds and good across the board and steals for a big man and blocks. Obviously high field goal, but low volume, so I don't think it's really going to move the needle too much. And my algorithm here is actually super interesting for calculating average field goal. I have my average field goal, but I don't run it off of an average field goal like how I would run an average block. Block is my average of these numbers, but field goal is my average of actually what I project the field goals made divided by my field goal attempts. That gives you at least a true range. So you just got to make sure that your numbers are clean. Same thing with my free throw. My free throw is going to equal my attempts, my makes divided by my attempts. Yeah, it's good to have clean stats. If you're just aggregating and averaging your numbers here, it doesn't take an account for volume. Voluminous players move the needle both ways. So that's why a Mark Williams doesn't really move the needle too much on field goal percentage. So right now I'm still looking good across the board. My threes freaking suck. So let's see if I could snag like a 3 dude here. I'm loving like a 3 dude spot. Jalen Green, RJ Barrett. This is where I could start to like snag a Dante. I'm feeling good about a Disnante, Disney Vincenzo. He's going to have a good year. So I'm like snagging him up for this spot. And like a Schroeder's cool here too because there's nobody on freaking Brooklyn. This is where the draft gets interesting. And where a guy like even Danny Advia gets super interesting because we are starting the season without Shaedon Sharpe, who I'm not in love with anyway. Starting the season without a Shaedon Sharpe. So I think Danny Advia is going to get a good start to the season, and he could establish himself. Keontae George, another dude I'm really intrigued in because I think he's going to be a good scorer, and I think he's going to be a good assist guy. I think he's going to be a good three-pointer guy, but his field goal percentage stinks. Pajemski, I don't like. People talk about him being good. Bro, his percentages are not good, and he's just flat across the board. You know what he is? He is a poor man's Draymond Green. Pajemski is a poor man's Draymond Green. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. He's half of a Draymond. Bro, nobody wants a half a Draymond Green, dog. I'm like not in love with Pajemski this year. That's what I'm thinking. This is where we're going to want to take some shots here. Like, Sarr is so going to be my target for, like, around 11. Like, I'm in love with him. Even, like, Westbrook. I don't think he's got the upside of a Sarr, but, like, he's a dude who you really might want to snag on a team like this. Again, not clean stats. He's kind of like a Draymond Green, too, where his stats kind of just, like, aren't great. But the problem is that he's super high volume. So he's getting you way more turnovers. But let's not go down the board too much. Let's just focus on where we're at. If we can get an RJ, all day. We can get a Clay, yay. If not, let's see who else we're thinking about. Like, Schroeder is kind of cool this year because we're getting good assists, but I feel like I need to start to grab some more threes here. I'm starting to fall below the line on a couple stats that I'm not in love with, but I should still stay afloat. Still keep afloat here. Keep a nice, dense team. 3 picks left, and I got a bunch of guys teed up. I'm obviously not taking Sarr here. I'm not taking Advia here. I'm like on Clay or on Barrett, and I'm like probably more inclined to. Wow, it's really tough to say who I'm more inclined to take. I like both of them. I'll just make the decision when it's game time. I might take an RJ first. Onyeka Okongwu, a guy who I didn't have on my radar that I think is interesting, but like. Not super excited about him. It's still a timeshare with Clint Capella. Clint went before him. Yeah, not in love with the pick. All right, good. I got one of my 2 guys who I'm just like I'm on one of these 2 guys. Wow. Who got taken? Derek Lively. Wow, we got an RJ and we got a Clay. Like I think Clay is good niche 3 guy. Wow, we got a fitty here. Wow, RJ sucks at free throws. Good in field goal. I like RJ this year. I don't know why. I feel like he's going to be good. And like Clay, I feel like his numbers are going to be a lot more mouths to feed in Dallas. And you could get threes off the waiver wire. You could stream threes, although I don't see a ton. You can get like a Gary Trent if you were so inclined. Even like a Melton. This may be my crazy RJ spot. This is why I'm taking a stand on RJ, bruh. I might be crazy, but I'm taking RJ, bruh. That might have been crazy. Might have been crazy, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta be a little crazy to get the gusto, dude. You gotta be a little crazy sometimes to win. I just like don't feel like he's gonna be cleaning up his counting stats. So I don't feel like he's going to be cleaning up his efficiency, but like if he doesn't murder me in free throw, I think I'm content. And I think he'll actually be like a 50% field goal percent shooter who's going to get me close to 2 threes a game, which is like really where I need to be here. He'll be so okay in rebounds. He'll be so okay in assists, but he's not like goose egg stuff. Steals fine, but like I'm already doing okay in steals where I can like, I'm there with like a guy or two. Like if I'm inclined to take a smart next, I'm in good shape. But like positionally, I feel like it's time to like seriously see what it's like to think about considering another center here. I do have 2 centers, which is good, but like not my team. Not my team. Where am I? Okay. AD is center eligible, which does make it fun. And my only center that I have is out for a month. So like positionally, I've got 11, 12, I got 3 picks left, and I don't actually have like a designated true center. So I'm in a bad position. Oh, let's see who centers are here. You're like, do I have to like? I almost rather snag a Clay. John Collins, not fun. The most fun guy here is a Trace Jackson Davis. Yeah, super fun. F that stuff. Blah. Like an Aaron Gordon, like he's center eligible, which I think is super important, and he also has flexibility. But his stats aren't great. A 126 spot, like I feel like he's better than 126, but again, like I'm dealing with an RJ situation here without threes, bruh. But really good field goal percentage. And Clay's gone anyway. And I do need a center eligible guy because if I fade a center, I'm in deep to do. Ugh, like a John Collins? Like, is he at all interesting? Like, at all? Ugh, there's nobody else here who's like even halfway interesting. So pigeonholed the centers. Ugh, and Aaron Gordon may just go anyway. Steven Adams, not interesting. I feel like I do need to take a John Collins if I miss on this because I need some stats. I'm not in love with him this year, and I don't think he even matches what he did this year, but he is efficient across the board. Ugh, I might even like a Bopo more than John Collins in a crazy way. Never thought it would come to this. Al Horford's just too light. Looney too light. Not enough minutes for Kelly Olynyk. Kalon Ware, too speculative. Wendell Carter, just no. Ugh, like a Nick Richards, like such a maybe shot. And a really good handcuff. Like so maybe and so handcuffy. If I miss... Wow. If I miss on an Aaron Gordon... Ugh, I'm so inclined to just wait and take a Nick Richards. Well, I'm in that position now anyway. If I miss Aaron Gordon, I think I'm going to shoot for the stars, take a SAR, and then grab a Nick Richards. Or maybe I'll like... Let's think about what I want to do here. Oh, I think Dennis is kind of played out here. Nar. Scoot's fun, but like... I just think his stats are going to be super, super dirty. Super high turnovers relative to like what you're getting in assists with like no defensive stats, not a ton of threes, and like bad field goal. Melton went, like I feel like this is my AG spot because I'm sort of center pigeonholed. Would love to take a Sar here and just take a Nick Richards and pivot accordingly. But, like, Aaron Gordon's going to go. And Sar may not be there. And, like, Sar is such a variable. Sar is super fun. All players. Alexander Sar. And then Aaron Gordon, 116 on average. Like, I'm taking a Gordon. Like, that's happening. There's some fun little picks here in the end. I just need to take my center eligible guy. Take my money and run. I just got to take AJ. It's annoying, but we'll take him. I don't even know if I have him on my list here. I do. Okay. Ugh, 11th pick. Adan Goltan. I have 12 and 13. Let's start to, like, see if I can take my shots here. This is where you take your freaking shots. Clicked up, got centers, fine. Mark Williams is going to be on the IL, so, like, is there anybody I could snag up there? Hey, folks, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've just, like, clicked through, and I'll show you the draft board at the end, because this might be just, like, absolutely terribly boring, but at least this gives you an idea of how somebody who's in a $1,000 league thinks about drafting, like, a $1,000 commish, or drafting, like, a $1,000 manager. I've been playing fantasy basketball since 2003. Platinum rated. I'll give you a quick flash of my rating just so you can see a little bit of my credentials. I'm not just like talking out of my butt, although like a good amount of it I am. But at least I've got, like, I can back it up. I'm diamond rated. Give you a vibe. Picture of Dwight Schrute, so you know I'm for reals. Almost 1,000 wins. This year I'll cross 1,000. I got 40 trophies. I have all of them on my mantle. So it's like really important stuff. My wife loves when I talk about how established I am as a fantasy player. Since '03, it's very important stuff. It's important stuff, dude. Very important stuff. Wow, Nimhard. Nimsoft. Let's see who else we got here. Now I feel like we just got to take our shots. Like, I don't need to go grab center just for center's sake. So, like, this is where we're going to want to take some fun little shots here. Then would take some fun little shots here. And there are plenty of fun little shots to take, like Assad. What an Assad. Oh, there's some still fun little shots to take here, dog. And, like, honestly, Sohan could be a super fun shot because there is no Devin Vassell. Bilal Koulibaly, also a super fun shot here. He's going to be like a steal on the block and a 3. That could be pretty fun here if all else fails. There's some good, fun, interesting stuff. Like a Conley, if you're pinched on assists, like, could be super cool. Neesmith, also, like, terribly, terribly interesting here. Although, whatchamacallit, our other friend, Ben Matherin is back in town, so I think that eats up on a little bit of playing time. Noah Clowney, people are, like, vibing on big time. Let's see if I can get any insight from any preseason games right now. Like, maybe that can help me make a decision. Like, I think I'm all in on Advia. That's a super good pick. Like, Sar, if he's there, like, you got to take your shots. Like, take a Monk here is mental. Like, take your shots. Take a guy who's got that top 60 upside. San Antonio Spurs preseason game, inconclusive. Nothing really there for us because Wemby didn't play, so, like, you're not going to get anything accurate. Julian Champagne, nobody's drafting him. Trey Jones. I don't think anybody's rocking our world. Sohan, Jeremy Sohan actually did pretty good. Sochan did pretty good. Still not enough for us to, like, go crazy here. OKC's super, like, we know who they are. Let's see. Memphis. Santi Aldama, he's just playing because JJJ isn't in. Like, I'm not garnering any really great insight. Zach Edey didn't do super hot because he got 5 personal fouls in the preseason game, so not that matters because he's not even there. Nobody on Dallas is, like, super intriguing. Jalen Hardy looks good, like, had an awesome preseason game. 21, 9 assists, 3 steals. Wow, and 6 out of 10 from 3. That's super interesting, but no Clay. No anyone, actually. There's simply nobody playing. Yeah. Nobody played for Dallas today. No good insights. Let's see. Does Houston give us any? Amen Thompson. I don't think he's here. There's no way Amen is here. Osar, his brother's here. Let's see. Amen. Amen got picked. I still have Sar here, and that's like super intriguing. He played really, really awesome in that preseason game, and I feel like here's an upside dude. Advia was picked, so I accept it. I've accepted and I've moved on. Wow, I really like Alex Sar here. Hopefully he goes to me. If he goes to me, I'm going to be pretty happy. If he doesn't, I'll be pretty unhappy. But this is a good spot. This is a spot that I feel good at. I'm vibing to Sar. If I can get Sar here, I'm snapping that real quick. Don't think that the end of the draft doesn't matter either. We still have 2 picks. Like, if picking up somebody huge off the waiver wire is big, then the last 2 picks of the league are very important too. This is pretty much your waiver wire spots. Westbrook, good. I like. You're getting a lot of juicy stats toward the end. If I can't get Sar, I don't want nobody, baby. I want Dennis. No! Wow, I wanted Sar. That is a bummer. Ugh. All right, Schroeder's there. Schroeder's there. Let's see. I feel like his stats are going to be better than it was last year. He's a low-key dude. 140 spot. Loving it. AO is not bad either. Asar. Did he start the season injured? Maybe fade him. Like a Jaime Hawkins is also freaking intriguing. Sochan on the back end. I'm just using this time to like put together some picks. Like Reed Shepard as a shot at SG. Like, bro, he could be a steal on the block. He could totally be a steal on the block. Same with Bilal Coulibaly. Oh. Let's just take some BS stats. I'm going to take some juicy BS stats with Schroeder. Get my juicy BS stats. And like maybe I'll snag like Nick Richards next. But like I'm just gonna take Schroeder. I'm taking like all these dirty stats in the end, but like we gotta take Dennis the Menace. Too much value in that spot not to take him. I have him projected at like an 86 rank. Let's see what I projected his numbers at here. I had him at like finishing 86. So I have him for 16 and 6.6. Like there's nobody on the Nets. There's literally nobody. Like I don't know if Ben Simmons is a thing anymore. I'm banking on him not being a thing. So, like, to get actual counting stats, to get, like, close to 7 assists, close to the final round, like, you just got to snap that value. Bad field goal percentage, but, like, I can get over it. Everything else is, like, sort of middling. I'm sort of hitting the middling range here across the board. I'm not excelling in any one area, like, technically blocks, but, like, my league is telling me that I'm not good on blocks. Middle and blocks. Let's start to see what, like, I'm good at. Assist, turnovers, I'm like probably like, I'm smack dab in the middle. I'm like a really good built plane right now. My points aren't great and my threes aren't great, but like that may prove to be different in the season. But like if my threes aren't good, my field goal should be like above normal, which it is. So my free throw is not good. It's kind of not a great combo to like, let's see. Feeling good on a Sunday. Let's see. Feeling good. These don't really mean anything, and these are my average stats. Projected is just malark. You can't bank on anything projected. I didn't take any rookies, so my last year numbers shouldn't be affected too much. I still feel like I've got fun little picks to take in this last round. I've got my guys teed up. I've got fun little picks to take here, and I'm like feeling good. Like to take a Rory Hachimura and Jordan Clarkson there, I think is like crazy. These guys are mega commoditized, bro. There's so many fun little guys to take here. There's fun shots, and I feel like people are not taking their fun shots in the end. Like, don't go for a sure thing. Go for the fun. Would have loved to take a Sar here. But with my last pick, you can't reverse the hands of time, but like with my last pick, I'm just going to take one of these fun guys that I think I'm going to get. 6 picks to my turn, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys teed up. I don't think they're all going to run out. I think it's impossible for them to all run out, so I'll pop one in just in case. Cantavius Caldwell. Nope. Let's see. Risochet. Zakari Risochet. Number 1 overall pick. Going automatically last. Like, that could be fun. But, like, I just don't see the upside in ATL. I simply don't. Like a Pat Williams? Like a Patrick Williams is such a crazy draft pick. Alright, fine. We grabbed a couple more guys just to keep it fun. Brogdon, Nason. No, like a Christian Brown. Very interesting too. My dude Kevin Porter, maybe. I'm not even touching that with the 10-foot pole. Oh no, he's gonna be on such minute restriction. Let's just put him there just to have fun with life. Jaime Jaquez, I like that pick a lot. I've got some fun picks here. I feel like Reed Shepherd is actually pretty fun at 150. And like, if there's an injury to FVV, like I'm on top of the world, dog. Let's see who we got. Like Reed Shepherd is such a fun little shot. I think between a Reed Shepherd and a Bilal Coulibaly. And Bilal could also be super intriguing in the spot. I don't know if Reed's going to get the time, but like I think I'm a 50-50 between Reed and Bilal. Maybe the draft will make it a little easier for me. Ayo. Also like Ayo Desamnu. Don't be silly. Also Asar. Like let's not be silly. There's fun guys to pick in the last round. Kentavious Caldwell, yup. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. I feel like these are all the guys that I want to tee up right now. Jonathan Isaac, also kind of a fun guy in that spot. That's a fun pick there. Scottie Pippen Jr., like him a lot. He should not be zeros across the board, but like, there's just only so much pie to go around, and I just don't think he's going to get a slice. Wigging out, bro. Whoa. That is a fun pick, too. That's a crazy pick. Did he even play in the preseason? That's a crazy pick. That may be a dude who I pick up off the waiver wire. Although I'll let a game go by to see who my snag guy is. PJ Washington, Dallas. That's so mid. Even like a Dyson Daniels is kind of fun. What I'm going to do is like... I don't know. Not that it really matters, but like I think it's a Bilal spot. Although it kind of is a Nick Richards here too. This is a Nick Richards spot. Like, let's not be crazy. I'm going to get the value early on in the season. I'm going to be able to... Bilal's going to end up being a dude, too. But, like, process of elimination. Like, we're taking Nick Richards. We're taking Nick, and we're wrapping the draft. And then I'm going to go over some quick stuff here. And then we're going to wrap this vid. But it's a Nick Richards spot. He's a starting center. A near double-double guy. And I could really use the center here. I literally have 3 centers with 1 on the bench. So I have 2 centers. I need to take a Nick Richards. Unless I'm missing something. Like, for Nick Richards to be available here is super good value. I don't know of a better center in this spot. Let's just take big guy Nick Rich. I think there was more fun spots to take, but, like, good. This is my team, and I'm sticking by it. Any regrets? Maybe, but also, like, this should be good to be hyper competitive. There's no, like, I don't think there's any, like, super duds here, and if there are, we'll be able to do well on the waiver wire. $1,000 league. Hopefully you got some good info. Let's throw in the draft. Yeah. Just so you can get a sense. I want you to see the board because this is, like, probably the only reason you're here. Hopefully you fast forwarded to everything, didn't listen to any of my crazy rants, and you just forwarded it to the big board. Let's throw up the big board here and see what I cannot provide in the way of value. Let's start at the top. Let's go through the big board. I'm going to let the draft finish. I'll still give a good scroll through so you can see the order and you can see the big board. If you do want any of this data, you could feel free to hit me up. And I'll just give you the data for this league so you can see what a $1,000 league draft's like. But here is the big board. And let's wish us good luck this year. And also go back to my draft. I don't even think I have stats for Nick Richards. I think it's actually super unlikely. I think it's super unlikely that I have a Nick Richards here. I don't have any Nick Richards stats, so I can't throw it in. But, like, I could sort of improv. Let's just, like, make up some stats on the fly. Like, let's just give him what he had last year. He was, let's call him like, let's be generous. Let's call him 10. I don't need to do anything else. Let's just call him 10 and 8 with like 1.1 blocks. 10 and 8, half a steal, 1.1 blocks. That'll kind of do us. So let's see. BDR, Big Friend Richards. Let's see. Let's give him 10, 10 threes. That's sick. Let's give him 10 PPG. Give him 10 PPG. Let's give him 0 threes, because that ain't happening. Let's give him 9 rebounds. What was I going to give him an assist? Like, no assists a game? Like, none? Like, 1? Let's just, like, be generous. Let's give him 1. Let's give him 0.5. Let's give him 1.1. Same thing. And let's just leave the rest of this blank. He's, like, a net positive in field goal. And actually, like, somewhat net positive in free throw, if I can remember. No, pretty middling, if not totally average. I'm going to go back to the draft results so you can see what it looks like. But here's my team in its final form. Draft results. I got AD, Scotty, Maxey. You can read for yourself. I feel like overall I got my value spots. I felt good. Mark Williams was a shot. If it works out, great. Yeah, let's see how this season goes. This is all going to be about picking up a really good guy the first couple days of the season. Let's see how they have standings here. They have me at a 6 spot, right in the mid-lay. Wow, higher end on the field goal, which is like not what I thought. Definitely lower spectrum on threes, which is fine. I can accept it. Maybe I can like fill that gap there. Points, middling. Rebounds, that doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. Who do I have that's a good rebounder? That's so weird. I didn't even draft for rebounds. Like, that makes 0 sense to me. And, like, according to my calculations, I guess I'm league average, like, the average. Like, when I look at my composite, I think about, like, what is one player? This is, like, one guy on my team. Like, this is the characteristic of my team. I'm about like a player who's 18.3 PPG, 1.5 threes per game, 6.8 rebounds, 4.46 assists, 1 steal, under a block, like 50% and like 78%. Like that's like bink, 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 like average across the board. You could see nothing here was too crazy. I didn't really punt that much, except it looks like I kind of like swapped threes for rebounds synthetically, and that is fine because the characteristic of all my centers is very likely that they don't hit a 3. So that's the value of getting a center that does hit 3s, but like all my centers do not hit 3s. So maybe we could surprise everyone and AD can hit a few more 3s, but like I also have up shots here. Like Brandon Miller can be like 3.3 threes a game. Scotty could be 2.5. Maxey could be like 4 and change. DAR could be like the same, if not a touch better. Same with Reeves. Like I think I have upside on 3s, but I feel like I've gone on a little too long. One more shot here at the draft board so you could see the total order of the $1,000 fantasy buying league. Good luck, everyone. Here's what it looks like. Again, hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully you got value out of this. And thank you for spending time with me. Good luck with your fantasy leagues. And I will see you on the next one. Take care now.